Hey everyone, this is Monique Groves, and I'm coming back with another quick video for you today. And today's topic is, what do you have in your hand? Yes, this is the question that God was asking Moses when God was instructing Moses that he wanted to use him to set the children of Israel free from the oppression of the Egyptians. Okay, this is the story of Exodus. And if you look at chapter 4, verse 2, God is saying to Moses, and the Lord said unto him, "What is that in thine hand?" He said, "A rod?" He's saying, wait a minute. You have a rod in your hand. You have something in your hand that can contribute to the mission that I want to send you on. If you read chapter 3, and I just read it here before I jumped onto this, and Moses and God are having a conversation, and God is telling Moses, look, we all know the story. He was in a burning bush. Moses saw the burning bush, and God began to speak to Moses, and he's telling Moses, hey, I want you to tell Pharaoh, the ruler in Egypt who's been oppressing the children of Israel, I want you to tell him to let my people go. And he's giving him instructions on what he wants Moses to do. But each time Moses begins to say, well, God, I'm not good at speaking, and God, I'm not good at this, and I'm not good at that, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. And God is being very patient with Moses. But what I really like about this story is we do the same thing. We as believers, we as Christians, we as followers of God, we do the same thing all the time with God. God is telling us do something, or he wants to do something with our lives, or he has a mission or vision that he wants us to complete. And the first thing that we do just naturally say, well, God, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I'm not talented. I don't have this. I don't have that. We start immediately going to all of the excuses that we have. And God is like, but what do you have in your hand? What do you have? In other words, God is saying, you have something, because God has given all of us something. Okay. If you read, I think it's the New Testament, God had given, I think all these three men talents. He gave 1 5, 1 2, and 1 talent. So that is an illustration that God has given all of us something to work with, whether that is a voice. Some of you can sing. Some of you have a great singing voice. Some of you can play an instrument. Some of us are great we're great orators. We can speak. Some people are good at the gift of writing. Some people are very good with math, numbers, right? So God has given each of us, when we were born, okay, he planted something in all of us. And sometimes what we do is, when we're up against a challenge in life, which many of us are, life, hey, it comes with trials and tribulations and different problems that we have to solve. And sometimes when we're facing a challenge, we get so focused, we get so caught up on, I don't have it, I don't have this, I'm not good enough, I don't have the education, I don't have a support system, I didn't come from this type of family, or I don't have we are so focused on what we don't have. God is saying, but wait a minute, you have this. So in Moses' case, he's telling Moses, look, you have, what is that in your hand? A rod? He's telling Moses, wait a minute, you have something that you can use for this mission. Okay, and many of us right now are facing some type of challenge. Okay, whether it's money, whether it's maybe you're trying to make more money, maybe you're dealing with a health matter, maybe you're dealing with a family matter. Okay, what is it that you have in your hand? Okay, don't get caught up on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. Don't focus on what you don't have control over. Focus on what you do have control over. What do you have control over? You have control over your mind. You have control over what you say. You have control over how you respond to something. Okay, nobody else has that control but you. So I just wanted this to be an encouragement, because this was, God is so good. He ministers to you right when you need him to. And this is what he planted in my heart, actually on Friday. I'm actually late with this, but what do you have in your hand? What do you have in your hand? Stop focusing on what you don't have. This is how the enemy deceives us. The enemy wants us to focus on what you don't have and how you don't look and how you don't feel and all this nonsense. Focus on what you have and put it to work. Okay? Put it to work. Don't just sit around, well, I'm waiting for this person to... No. We don't need to wait for anybody. All right? We don't need to wait for anybody to validate us. We don't need to wait for anybody to approve us. God has already approved us. All right? Just look at what's in your house. What's in your hand? What can you use? Okay? And if you're facing a financial challenge, look around your house. What can you sell? What can you do? All right? This is the same thing God told me. He was like, what's in your hand? What do you have that you can use? Because again, God is so good. He didn't bring anybody to this world empty-handed. He didn't bring us into this world empty-handed. It may appear that we came empty-handed, but he didn't. He gave us gifts and talents. All right? He said your talent will make room for you. All right? Some of you have enormous talent. Okay? Start unlocking your talent. Start taking an inventory of what you have. What skills do you have? Okay? What skills do you have? Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we, in these jobs, that may be your job. You may have you may be an accountant at your job, but guess what? You can also sew. You can do art. You can draw. You can paint. You may, at your job, you may be, you may be a banker. But guess what? You can work on cars. You also have the gift. You're a mechanic. You're a carpenter. You can do different things. So let us take inventory, all of us, of what we have, what we can use. Okay. Let's stop focusing on making excuses of, I can't. Moses' excuse was, he didn't feel like he was good at speech. So God was so good. He said, you know what? Bring your brother Aaron. He can talk. So God provides us with everything we need to carry out the mission, the vision that he has for us, even when we don't think we do. We do. So the question that I want all of you to consider, think about, pray on is, what do you have in your hand? Okay, ask God, what do you have in your hand? And let him reveal to you what you have. Okay, guys, that's all I have for today. I love you. Be blessed. Stay focused on God. And until next time, bye-bye.